Hi there, my name's Dakota. I'm the web admin for Northern Knives, and we're here to talk about what Damascus is and how it applies across various different brands here. You'll be seeing some fantastic B-roll right now of some of the more luscious knives.
And so we have to make a distinction that Damasteel.
Yes.
Versus.
What's the difference between Damasteel? Well, like, you're pointing out this guy right here, Damasteel. What is the difference between Damasteel and Damascus?
So Damasteel is actually, it's a type of Damascus, but it's also a brand. So Damasteel is a brand name. They make different types of Damascus blades, but it's like basically just a stainless Damascus.
I was going to say, doesn't it? It always includes
it's
stainless.
Always going to be stainless.
Yeah.
It's a mix of RWL34.
Wow, look at the memory on this.
Another steel that's escaping me, so I don't quite remember. But
I'm impressed you remember the first one.
yeah, so
RWL34 though, a lot of local makers up here back in the day used to use RWL.
So RW34 is basically 154 CM, which is a much more common steel. So
which is very similar to ATS 34.
yeah,
also.
so it's going to have similar properties, but it looks a lot prettier.
Yeah, and it takes a nice shine.
Yes, it does. So it's just a little more of a refined version of Damascus, I think. Yeah.
But everything else we use here, everything else we have here is Damasteel. Everything else we have on display here is Damascus.
That would turn Damascus, yeah.
Are you all right? You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. We're already talking about it, man.
We're already done.
No, okay.
We're
You
already
missed
done.
out.
All right. See you next week.
So, like, we've got the Damasteel here, which is a stainless version of Damascus. It's kind of proprietary, kind of like
They have their own proprietary patterns as well.
They do have their own proprietary patterns.
That's really cool. It's kind of like Chad Nichols. You can't get a Chad Nichols Damascus unless you say it's a Chad fucking Nichols Damascus.
Yeah.
So what do we have on the table here to kind of give people a gambit?
We have a Chad Nichols Raindrop Damascus.
No, yeah. From William Henry.
Or is it Mike Norris?
Oh, is it Norris?
I think it's Chad Nichols.
I brought the tag if anybody wants to get it. But we also have a Vagnino. We also have we brought out a leak just because we had it around.
Factory Kershaw.
I mean,
Then we have a Odell. This is the Odell.
Cliff
No.
Odell.
That's the Nico, and this is the
yeah.
Odell.
And don't forget about the Bastion slide.
Oh yeah, the Bastion, which is a very fat pattern.
Just square.
Especially if you compare it to the Vagnino. I mean it's almost. It's got some like iridescent quality almost. It's that tight and you know what I mean? It's that unique.
it shows the wavelength of the light, which is a bitch because I was trying to film it, and it didn't matter how I hit it with the light. It always showed this striation pattern in the light, no matter what I did, which, I mean, is a pain to me, but like that is a really tight weave Damascus, and it is a purposeful wavation.
From my angle right here, it looks like it's tiger striped.
Isn't
you know what I
the
mean? It's
thumb disc
tiger striped down there.
Damascus as well?
Is this thumb disc?
That's a really good
it is.
point to make.
It is,
Yeah, that's pretty.
He
damn
went
cool.
through the effort.
Yeah.
It is a clean. Like, even the screws on the bolster match up with the engraving.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Well, and we can talk about his engraving and his
Yeah,
camel
but-
bone and all that. And we can talk
the
that
fact
to
that he
death, but
put so much into it that he put a Damascus thumb disc on it, which I'm not a big thumb disc person, but that's
pretty cool.
pattern.
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But I mean, we can really talk to the quality of the Damascus between these knives. Like, one of the big problems with Damascus that you'll get with cheap Damascus is you'll get the impurities and you'll get the peeling. So you can take a Damascus knife and sharpen it, and what you'll get is a separation in the layers because it'll burn away or there'll be impurities in it. And I would expect that in this knife. I would expect that in this knife, but it never shows up in Damasteel.
Well, that's the thing about Damasteel. It's much more pure. It doesn't have the impurities.
Exactly.
that you find
It's
in
almost. They almost start with powdered, I think.
It is powdered. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, but like when you go with these here, with the exception of this one, and the exception of this one, you might get impurities, and it does happen. And even in Spyderco, this actually looks like the Delica.
It does.
Like the Delica Damascus. I mean, that is almost dead on, balls accurate for what I would think a delicate Damascus would look like.
Absolutely.
And it's not uncommon to find impurities in that and find peeling in that, where the two layers separate.
Yeah, so Dakota used the word intentional when he was looking at this, and that's the thing. Like, it's Damascus, this is Damascus, but it's Damascus for the sake of Damascus. You know what I mean? Like, you can see intentional patterns.
Exactly.
And I mean, you even go to Kershaw's website, they don't tell you what it's made of, which makes me think that it's either like a Chinese-based Damascus, like the Bastia,
Pakistan,
or a Pakistani.
So much stuff comes out of Pakistan.
Yeah, well, I mean, labor's cheap, but they also have the know-how. I mean, they fucking make an AK-47 out of a shovel.
Yeah.
I feel like, to be fair, I feel like there's
Videos exist. Sorry, keep going.
Sorry.
So it's YouTube ads.
Please.
Please
I feel like there's also a lot of bad Damascus that comes out of the States. It's not just like third world countries, but here there is as well. People who are trying to make Damascus and they just like.
We don't want to name names, but it starts with an A and ends with a Bama.
I'm just saying that there is good and bad Damascus in every place that you get it from. So I'm sure that even these name brand guys get a bad batch of Damascus.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
Well, and the thing is too, you get fat weave, and then look how tight this weave is. This weave is so tight that it affects the way the light's refracted off of it. You know what I mean? Even if you hold it up this way, it's just you almost can't avoid the tiger stripe, and then when you look at it in the right light, you get.
It's pretty impressive.
You know what I mean? And then you get this, and it almost looks like this is laser etched on it. It almost looks fake. Yeah. Yeah. And we do get that a lot in the shop when people are like, wait, is this etched or is this actual Damascus? And sometimes when you get into the lower end Damascus, you gotta be like, damn, I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, we've actually taken Q-tips and dipped them in the acid and rubbed them along the spine, which is the easy way to tell. You rub it along the spine. And if you get the layering on the spine, then you can tell.
So most of these have the layering on the spine exposed, so you can see it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, unless you reprofile it and it's all shiny, then you won't be able to tell. But most of these have all that layering, and you'll be able to see it and feel the grooves, not just like from the engraving, but like from the acid or the Damascus itself.
And I do have one question here, and this is going to be for the casual viewer at home. What is Damascus?
No. You go.
Damascus is two different types of steel folded together to make either a pattern or some random stuff. And correct me, internet, if I'm wrong.
Well, there are a lot of people who like, there's no such thing as real Damascus because the art's been lost. And so what we have is...
I'm going to call bullshit on that.
We have a bastardization of folding steel, but come on, the Japanese have not forgotten how to fold steel.
So in every Japanese... wakizashi, tanto, katana. Have you ever gotten in? How often have you been able to see the layers?
Very
it's
rarely.
Always been bonded into each other. So if you have two great steels, they're going to bond to each other. Whereas if you have two very opposite steels, you'll be able to see those different layers.
Well, and so many people think that you fold the steels and they look different. But I could take any one of these upstairs, you as well. We could take any one of these upstairs, take the blade out, hit it to the buffer, put it back in, and it would look like a single piece of steel. Yeah. Just like a katana with the thousands of folds.
Yep.
But what they don't realize is the only reason they're different colors is because you take it, you put it in acid, one steel is eaten faster than the other. So you dip it and you pull it out, and one of those steels is eaten away faster than the other. And then that is what gives you the color contrast. Mm-hmm. So everybody thinks that you fold steel and you just see it. It doesn't work like that. You can buff, like even when you sharpen these and you buff the edge or strop the edge, it's going to shine it. It's going to shine that away. And as you get to the edge of the blade, even on, well, I don't mean to say cheap Damascus and point out the leak, but
it's not high end.
Let's be honest. But even on this cheap Damascus here, if you take and buff this, all that differentiation will disappear. Yeah. It will just be a shiny piece of metal.
Well, and that's why you can actually see the edge on all these knives is because, well, this one's obviously been blued, but all of these have an edge that you can visually see.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things I was going to bring up is that, like Damascus, as far as modern steels go, is really an aesthetic. It doesn't really add anything to the actual blade structure. It doesn't add anything to the edge retention.
We have a question.
Yes, Lori?
I have a comment to make, but I'll let you finish for a
A
second.
rhetorical question.
No.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
Not in any of these knives, but in a lot of knives they do wrap Damascus around a core steel.
Okay.
So yes, it is aesthetically pleasing, but also it does reinforce the core steel that people are using.
Gives you lateral strength, especially on kitchen knives.
Exactly.
And what ProTech does with the S30 core, with the Damascus wrap on their
Yep.
limited editions, so they have a legit cutting steel wrapped in Damascus, which gives you really strong lateral strength.
William Henry does that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how they buy their blades because a lot of them are Z289 core.
I mean,
I don't know.
Damascus-
This isn't.
This is not.
This is not an
But
example.
They do a lot of knives with a core steel with Damascus wrapped around it. So
You're
they use
absolutely
a
right.
phenomenal core steel with Damascus wrapped around it.
Yeah, I mean,
mean-
a lot of the time, I feel like people come in the shop and they look at our Damascus knives and like, oh, is this going to be stronger? Is this going to have better edge retention? And usually it's not, it looks good. So, you could have M390 or 20CV on a knife, and it's going to be an excellent steel. It's going to have excellent edge retention. More so than this Damasteel blade.
Yeah.
But
But the technology has come so far that
yeah,
what a lot of people don't realize is, and what I try to explain is that Damascus is alloy before we figured out how to do alloy.
yeah,
So now we have alloys that will exceed the performance of Damascus. But before we knew how to make an alloy, what we did is we took two steels that we liked the properties of, and then we folded them together, and we made a knife out of those.
yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right on.
Well, thanks.
But then
I'm saying I agree with
would
your
hope
point.
No, I agree.
with your point, Mike.
Thanks. I just. Ooh, that cigar is still kicking my ass.
Lori.
But then
Oh, we have a question.
But then we have, say, the Shun dual core, where we have two different steels that have been folded together to make a pattern, and they say that one wears better than the other, or more
Yeah.
often than the other. So, how do you use that against a traditional Damascus?
But I
steel
think
steel?
that's the pinnacle of two alloys being folded versus two non-alloys being folded. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, alloy is better than Damascus. But then if you take two alloys and make Damascus, that's kind of the pinnacle of the technology. Which is why I think the Shun dual cores,
with VG1 and VG10.
which, that's pretty much, I think, the best way you can make a cutting edge.
Yeah.
And every chef no chef is going to watch this video, but you know what I mean? How many people, the most highly rated restaurant in all of Alaska, their butcher uses only dual cores, and he comes in and buys another and another and another, and he wears them out. He
does.
He
It's a
does.
thing, yeah.
I'm not making this up, and
likes
I'm
the
not
edge.
exaggerating.
He likes the edge.
But the edge is, he cannot find a better edge. And he is the butcher at the most highly rated restaurant in the entire state. And he will not use anything else.
He loves it so
to
much-
the point where he has us reshape the handles.
It's
Yep.
not like a two-word restaurant that starts with a D.
Well,
and ends
We're not
with
gonna
a-
say
No
anything.
free promo. No free promo.
Okay. I really like that place, so I hope it is.